Hey folks, welcome to the walk around for my Polaris Ranger 1500 Extreme Duty. It's a 2025, and let's see, I have had this for about 3 weeks now. My upgrades to this unit are the tinted windows, the Polaris branded headache rack, and the Polaris headache rack winch. Things to note for people thinking about this is that this headache rack winch relocates your rear light down, and like that's all fine and good. However, I do find it a little bit more difficult to use the rear view mirror, and when I say difficult, I'm like splitting hairs. So we're talking 15 or 20% obstruction that you get from it being dropped down just that bit there. The loading winch is awesome. This is a 1,000-pound loading winch, and it has a remote and the sensing capability, same sensing capability as the front winch. I love this thing. Moving on, let's see. I have the 30-inch stock tires on now. Hopefully that'll be an upgrade one day soon here. The Ultimate comes with the little top bar there that completes the front bumper. It's kind of hard when you're picking out options to understand what you get and what you don't get. So when you're looking at the options catalog, there are a handful of things that the Ultimate, a handful of detail things that the Ultimate already has. Yeah, so there's your quick outside walk around there. I find the rear camera to be good, but kind of hard to use at times because there is the message on the ride command screen kind of sort of blocks some of what could be your camera view. Let me pop on inside here, and you'll notice the seatbelt is connected because when jumping in and out, you get limited to, I think it's 14 miles per hour, something like that. 14, 15 miles an hour when you have no seatbelt on. And we have a long paved driveway where you can get up to that speed pretty darn easily. So ignore that. I think there's seatbelt blank options out there for folks. I am actually thinking about that myself. Inside, so let me kind of show you, see if I can show you what I'm talking about in the rear view mirror there. So if your head's back against the rest and you're looking at that mirror, like that kind of, if you're trying to look at the distance and you're out on the road trying to see cars coming, that obstruction is just enough to like get in the way of your distance view. Let's talk about the JBL speakers for a second. I'm going to be super honest, like I'm not expecting audiophile capabilities out of a side-by-side. They kind of suck. And here, my reference point is my Kubota Tractor's no-name speaker system and no-name head unit from the dealership. That system in the Kubota is tinny and not particularly defined, but it is adequate. I've not thought about doing anything but maybe replacing the two factory speakers with something. And I haven't done that. I've owned that tractor for 4 years, and it's been adequate. I'd say this is 30, 40, 50% worse than that system. The ride command there is, let me see if I can, I might need to adjust my frame rate so you guys can see that clearly because I see the flicker on my own screen there, so we'll talk about that perhaps in a separate video. I love the turf mode. The turf mode option in this thing is pretty fantastic. It has kept me from. We have a lot of yard and field that is really easy to like tear up and muck up if you are riding this thing around. But again, we've been riding for 2.5, 3 weeks now, and we've got no noticeable trails. I keep it in turf mode for much of the time, or I think it's called super turf when you engage the front wheels plus the turf mode, and that's fantastic on some of these. I don't know if you can really tell out here, but this is a pretty hilly spot. And turf mode has been fantastic for that. All right, let me see. What else can I tell you? The heat and air has worked fantastic for us. I have been a fan of that. The rear aux, so I actually pulled this panel out. Let me see if I can focus back a little bit. So I actually pulled this panel out because I was having some window issues, and found that my rear aux was completely disconnected. So that was an interesting build quality sort of thing. My windows kind of go up and down slow. I've seen that on some of the forums, folks chatting about that. So when I go back to the dealership for service, we'll chat through some of the assembly line things that I've found, and just hopefully just try to get it straightened out in one trip. Another note here is that the winch switch is right by the window switch. My wife hits that thing all the time. So that's just interesting placement. If I'm doing a little bit of a subtle review here, like I would want that winch switch maybe up high out of the way so that you definitely don't hit it by accident. I do like that the dump switch is placed over here by the door, because when I am outside trying to dump, I want to be able to understand what's going on. And that's probably the only time that I don't like this like suicide door design, is when I'm trying to use the dump bed and I can't quite get to it and see it without like looking through the door. I have these Terex Solutions mats, and I am a fan. They cut down on a little noise and vibration. I see folks writing quite a bit about that, but I'd say they definitely help. I can't tell you how much, but I know that they do. I have the matching, you can't see it because of all my junk, but I have the matching bed mat here, and I love that thing. It has been fantastic. The way I use this thing, I've been burning about, I have a full-time job, so I'm out using this thing evenings and weekends on 40 acres, and I'm burning about half a tank a week. I can kind of go about 2 weeks. Well, I've gone 2 weeks on half a tank. And right now I've got about 12 hours on it, and about, I think it's 57, 60 miles, something like that. So not a ton of use, but again, for a weekend warrior doing things around the farm, a good amount of usage. One of the things that always gets me on this guy is, let me get my gimbal going straight again. One of the things that gets me about this guy is the tailgate. I love the heavy duty tailgate on this thing. I have a shock absorbed tailgate on my pickup truck, so I occasionally get surprised when it's heavy and it kind of flops down. I'd love to see like a little bit of a damper there. There's a lot of things you'd love to see for the price point, but again, overall this thing's fantastic. For the Terex Solutions people, I'd love to see some sort of tailgate mat that you kind of, I don't know, screw in or replace this plastic or something to match the bed mat. That way I can slide things across this. I love the size of this bed. The depth and the size of this bed versus the 1000 and the other Ranger Can-Am things, like the size of the bed's fantastic. Well, that is it for now. I will make a few more videos as I use this thing. My next thoughts for this guy are, I want to do visors. I need a set of mirrors. And I think I also need a road kit, a horn, signal, things of that nature. I want to do a roof rack because I'm finding storage to be a problem. So I want a roof rack. I want to be able to have a few extra lights. And then over the long term, I definitely want to put 33-inch tires on, and I want to replace these with the Fox Reservoir shocks. These shocks do okay. They ride better than anything I test drove from the both Can-Am and Polaris dealers, but they're just, you know, hitting these hills, and if you're at any sort of speed, you can bottom these shocks out pretty darn easily, and I don't love that for the long term. So I think I'd like to do some shocks around the time that I do wheel package things. While I'm thinking about it, I would love to do fender flares. This thing slings anything and everything it comes in contact with, and I'd love to do some sort of fenders that help me control that and keep this thing a little clean. I have rinsed this thing off exactly once since I've had it, so you can kind of see where and how things collect. But overall, it stayed pretty clean, and I've been able to clean it pretty easily. That's it for now. Thank you guys very much. Let me know what else you want to see.